What would you do if you won millions of dollars overnight? As we uncovered in part 1 of this series, the dream of sudden wealth can easily turn into a nightmare if it's not handled wisely. Do you think you could do better? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're continuing our deep dive into the lives of lottery winners who went broke. In part 2, we'll follow 5 more winners whose fortunes evaporated as quickly as they were earned. So sit back, because you won't believe how quickly millions can vanish. Let's get started. Janite Lee's story begins in 1993 when she won an incredible $18 million in the Missouri lottery. As an immigrant from South Korea, Janite had worked hard all her life to make a living in the US, so when she suddenly became a millionaire, she saw it as her chance to give back to the country and the causes she believed in. Her generosity was legendary. She donated millions to political campaigns, educational institutions, and various charitable causes. She became a well-known figure in her community, even rubbing shoulders with prominent politicians and celebrities. But beneath the surface, Janite was making critical mistakes that would cost her dearly. While she was giving away vast sums of money, she wasn't paying attention to her own financial security. Her philanthropy was done without a sustainable financial plan in place, and as her donations piled up, her bank account dwindled. In addition to her excessive generosity, Janite made several poor business investments that failed to deliver any returns. She trusted the wrong people with her money, hoping to grow her wealth through ventures that ultimately went bust. To make matters worse, Janite developed a gambling habit that compounded her financial troubles. Frequent trips to casinos drained even more of her remaining funds. Within a few years, the woman who once had $18 million at her disposal found herself bankrupt. By 2001, Janite filed for bankruptcy with less than $700 in her bank account. Her story is a stark reminder that even with the best intentions, wealth can slip through your fingers if you don't plan for the future. Generosity is a beautiful thing, but it should never come at the expense of your financial well-being. In 2003, Callie Rogers made headlines as the youngest lottery winner in the UK, scooping up £1.9 million at the tender age of 16. At first it seemed like a fairy tale. Callie, a teenager from a small town in Cumbria, was catapulted into the world of millionaires. But as you can imagine, managing such a large sum of money at such a young age without guidance was a recipe for disaster. Callie's inexperience with wealth, combined with the pressures of her newfound fame, sent her life on a downward spiral. Suddenly flush with cash, Callie went on a spending spree. She purchased designer clothes, expensive cars, and even underwent multiple cosmetic surgeries. Her parties became the stuff of local legend, and she generously showered friends and family with gifts. But behind the scenes, Callie was battling something much darker. The sudden wealth overwhelmed her, and without any financial guidance, she quickly lost control. She started using drugs, and her lavish lifestyle took a toll on both her mental health and her finances. Callie's relationships also suffered. Friends who were once close became distant as the money caused tensions and jealousy. She found herself increasingly isolated, and as her mental health deteriorated, she turned to substance abuse to cope. Despite her efforts to regain control of her life, the damage had already been done. By the time Callie turned 22, most of her fortune was gone, and she had to rebuild her life from scratch. In recent interviews, Callie has been candid about the difficulties she faced after winning the lottery, describing the experience as more of a curse than a blessing. Her story highlights how critical it is to have proper financial management and emotional support, especially for younger winners who are thrust into the spotlight too soon. Jeffrey Dampier's story is one of generosity, loyalty, and ultimately, betrayal. In 1996, Jeffrey won $20 million in the Illinois lottery, and unlike many winners, he decided to use his fortune to improve the lives of those around him. He was known for his kindness, helping out friends and family with financial support whenever they needed it. He even started a gourmet popcorn business to create more opportunities for himself and his loved ones. But this generous spirit would also prove to be his downfall. Jeffrey's goodwill made him a target for those closest to him. His sister-in-law Victoria Jackson saw an opportunity to exploit his kindness and conspired with her boyfriend to kidnap Jeffrey and extort his wealth. What started as a plan to rob him turned into something far more sinister. Jeffrey was lured to an isolated location where Victoria and her boyfriend unalived him, all in an attempt to take control of his remaining fortune. The news of what happened to Jeffrey shocked the nation. He had trusted his family implicitly, but that trust was betrayed in the worst possible way. His tragic story shows that money can bring out the worst in people, and even those you believe are closest to you can become dangerous when greed is involved. Jeffrey's passing was not just a loss of life, but a loss of the good he was trying to bring to the world. His story serves as a reminder that wealth should always be protected, not just through financial planning but through personal security and safeguards. Lara and Roger Griffiths seemed like the perfect couple when they won £1.8 million in the UK lottery in 2005. The money was supposed to be their ticket to a life of luxury and comfort. They purchased a stunning home, upgraded to luxury cars, and took lavish vacations to destinations they had only dreamed of. For a while, life seemed perfect. However, the couple's spending quickly spiraled out of control. Roger, who had long dreamed of becoming a musician, invested a significant portion of their winnings into launching his music career, but the venture didn't bring the returns they had hoped for. At the same time, Lara and Roger were spending money on high-end fashion, expensive beauty treatments, and luxury goods, with little regard for how quickly their funds were depleting. As their bank account dwindled, the pressure mounted, and cracks began to form in their marriage. The financial strain brought out underlying issues in their relationship, and the once happy couple found themselves arguing constantly about money. Eventually their marriage broke down, and the couple separated, each blaming the lottery win for their troubles. By the time the dust settled, Lara and Roger had lost nearly everything. Their home was sold, the cars were gone, and their relationship was in ruins. The Griffiths story shows that sudden wealth can magnify existing problems and strain even the strongest of bonds. Without a solid financial plan and open communication, the pressure of managing millions can become overwhelming. For the Griffiths, the lottery win brought more heartbreak than happiness. Suzanne Mullins won $4.2 million in the Virginia lottery in 1993, opting to receive her winnings in annual installments. At first it seemed like a safe, steady way to manage her fortune, but as time went on, Suzanne's financial situation became increasingly dire. Personal expenses, medical bills, and family debts began to pile up, and Suzanne found herself borrowing heavily against her future lottery payments to cover the costs. What started as a manageable situation quickly spiraled out of control as the interest on her loans and debts began to accumulate. Without a proper repayment plan or financial strategy in place, Suzanne's debts grew larger and larger. She found herself trapped in a cycle of borrowing to pay off old debts with no end in sight. Her financial troubles eventually caught up with her, and she faced lawsuits from creditors seeking to recover the money she owed. Despite winning millions, Suzanne found herself filing for bankruptcy, with her debts far outweighing her remaining assets. Suzanne's story highlights the importance of understanding how to manage long-term payments and debt. Borrowing against future earnings can seem like a solution in the short term, but without careful planning it can lead to financial disaster. Suzanne's experience serves as a warning to other lottery winners. No matter how much money you think you have coming in, it's critical to manage it wisely. As we've seen in these stories, even the largest lottery jackpots can disappear in the blink of an eye if they're not managed responsibly. From poor investments to betrayal and financial mismanagement, the dangers of sudden wealth are all too real. In our final episode of this series, we'll explore 5 more stories of lottery winners who lost everything. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the conclusion of this eye-opening series. Thanks for watching. What would you do if you won the lottery? Would you handle it differently from the winners we've seen today? Let us know in the comments below. Stay tuned for the next episode, where we'll dive into even more jaw-dropping stories of lottery winners who lost it all. See you next time.